Hello there. The government is looking to hit the state pension next year to help pay for the pandemic economic fallout. As per usual, please like, subscribe and comment below. And why not buy a mug with my mug on it? So the Chancellor Rishi Sunak is eyeing up the state pension as a target to help pay for the pandemic lockdown. Did you think that the state pension was immune from the Chancellor's pen? There are already reports that private pension contributions will be taxed, so it's no surprise to learn the state pension is also under attack. And the target is the state pension triple lock. The triple lock was put in place to ensure that the state pension rises every year by a minimum of the rate of inflation, the rate of pay increases, or 2.5%, whichever is the largest. And this year we have indications that wages are going up significantly by circa 8%. That would be a big extra and unexpected bill for the Treasury to bear. Hence the rumblings across the media that it will have to be scrapped or amended. And the Chancellor told BBC Breakfast today that the triple lock is the government's policy, but I very much recognise people's concerns. I think they are completely legitimate and fair concerns to raise. We want to make sure the decisions we make and the systems we have are fair, both for pensioners and for taxpayers. Sounds like a policy reversal on the way to me. Now, some people will say that the pandemic has forced a very unusual situation on the UK economy, so, because of the extra cost, the government should not be held to the rigid rules of the triple lock. But if wages have gone up by 8% or so, surely commensurately increased income tax and national insurance payments have been, or will be, flowing into the Treasury coffers. And if those are recycled back out to the pensioners to spend, won't that help boost the post-pandemic economic recovery? And if you think the triple lock is enshrined in law, it's not. It's a purely political commitment with no way to enforce it, other than through the ballot box. Anyway, here's what the Tories promised before the 2019 election in their manifesto, and it shows one belief they've gone back on and another about to be broken. On entering government in 2010, the Conservatives acted decisively to protect the UK's pensioners. The triple lock we introduced has meant that those who have worked hard and put in for decades can be confident that the state will be there to support them when they need it. Except when they need it after their lives have been ruined by a pandemic and all the sacrifices pensioners have had to make with a lack of visitors and being imprisoned in their homes for months on end. We will keep the triple lock, the winter fuel payment, the older person's bus pass and other pensioner benefits, ensuring that older people have the security and dignity they deserve. And you do have to ask the very blunt question of how many fewer pensioners are there right now due to COVID-19? And how much has that already lightened the load on the Treasury? And then there's the other Tory belief. We recognise the value of free TV licences for over 75s and believe they should be funded by the BBC. Well, that's one manifesto commitment that aged well, isn't it? Now, according to the Office for Budget Responsibility, which is the Treasury spending watchdog, every 1% rise in pensions means an extra 0.9 billion quid being handed out. So an 8% average pay hike will lead to the Treasury needing to cut £7.2 billion from other areas or borrow it every year. And it also becomes the baseline for future rises. So if inflation takes off next year, And that's why many people argue that the triple lock should go, or at least be suspended this year, especially as the state pension rose by 2.5% this year, while inflation and wage rises had been stagnant or falling. At the end of the day, it all comes down to whether or not you really think pensioner dignity and their ability to both eat and heat is desirable. And the Tories will also have to gauge the political capital that Keir Starmer and his Labour Party can harvest if the triple lock is dropped. It would be an open goal opportunity that the English football team could only dream of. Especially as it was just last month that the PM's spokesman said, "We are committed to the triple lock." But is the government committed to the triple lock as it is today, or to an amended one they're going to sneak out when they can? Oh, and there's more post-Brexit trade deal good news. Last week, the UK agreed a deal in principle with Norway, Iceland and Liechtenstein. And today, reps from those three countries came to London and signed the deal off. This deal says the government will boost a trading relationship worth nearly £22 billion a year and will boost critical sectors like digital, financial and professional business services, slash tariffs on top quality British exports and support jobs in every corner of our country. It will also allow the fish processing sector, retail and consumers to benefit from cheaper imports of prawns, shrimp and white fish, as well as businesses will also be able to save time and money with the deal's cutting-edge digital provisions, which allow goods to move seamlessly across international borders. And remember that as part of the EEA, Norway, Iceland and Liechtenstein are in the European Union single market. So why can't we move stuff across the Irish border like this and ditch that terrible Good Friday Agreement busting protocol? Moving on. There's been a bit of a spat in the House of Commons between the Cabinet Office Minister Michael Gove and his SNP shadow MP Stewart Hosie. The SNP MP demanded that the government publish the results of private polling the Cabinet Office had conducted regarding the public's attitudes on the Union of the United Kingdom. But he also added a sting in the tail by adding that the courts had found that Gove had acted with apparent bias when awarding pandemic contracts out to his acquaintances. Now, on the first, if it's private in-house polling, then why should it be published? And on the second, at least we can see that money has been spent and where it was spent. And also, the court ruling was not against Gove personally. But as Michael Gove pointed out when replying, the Scottish Government has received more than £180 million from the UK Government in COVID recovery funds, and it's not yet the case that the Scottish Government has published how a penny of that money has been spent. So before asking for greater transparency from this government, I think it would be appropriate if you were to ask his colleagues in the Scottish Government to publish accounts for every single penny that has been received and how it's been spent, so that we can be assured, as I'm sure will be the case of course, that the Scottish Government has used its resources appropriately to fight COVID. But maybe the SNP needs it to help plug the £600 million hole in their party's ring-fenced IndyRef 2 fund. We do need a forensic audit of SNP spending. And I wonder where the free bikes and laptops are. Anyway, a big thanks to my Patreon and PayPal supporters. And what's your opinion on the state pension triple lock, the new trade deal, and auditing where the SNP spends our money? Please like and comment below.